Hey, did you know it's tick season? Lyme disease is transmitted through the bite of infected ticks. Visit Atco Pest Control's website today to learn more and take control at atcopestcontrol.com. What's up, guys?
Hi, boys. Hey, welcome back there, Steiny.
Thank you.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Had fun.
Yeah, round of applause for coming to work on a Tuesday.
maybe too robust. Yeah.
And I asked him, did Dibs know what he shot? I didn't know if you looked at that.
Oh, yeah, I did. We have a spreadsheet.
How was it? Yeah, he told me.
Not great. I mean, he's better than that. But when you go on the road and you play a tough course, sometimes you have tough rounds. And, that's the way that goes, That's just the way that plays out sometimes.
Where were you again? Where'd you go?
Gamble Sands, Washington.
Okay.
In Brewster.
It's 2 hours west of Spokane.
Right, and about 3 hours east of Seattle.
What and why'd you end up there? What the hell's going on up there?
There's just an incredible golf facility in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
It's got...
what'd you do after the rounds? Applebee's?
Just after.
You eat there.
You eat at the course?
Yeah. Well, it's like a complex.
Right.
And they have places to stay on the property.
Got it.
That's
so
where
you never left the property?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, we flew into Spokane and spent the first night in Spokane.
I bet that was crazy.
Underrated sleepy town. I like Spokane.
I don't know what they're getting that, though.
No, I've been to Spokane many times. Many times, actually.
Sometimes I thought, man, this is incredible. And then other times I thought, oh, boy.
Here's what's crazy. I've been there probably 6 times, and I don't remember the first thing about it other than the minor league ballpark that's there.
Wow. Yeah.
There's not one memory that stands out of 6 different 3-day trips to Spokane, Washington. I ask me what it looks like. No clue.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No clue.
A river runs through it.
Yeah. That's true of most cities in Oregon and Washington, but
he said a river.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went there on a SaberCats road trip, and we got to the hotel, and, there was a curfew, and, the curfew did not apply to the broadcasters, so, I'm doing what I do, and I look in the lobby, and there are 4 or 5 players who are clearly out after curfew, and they've got company.
Yikes.
And next thing you know, we're all in the pool. It's got to be 12-something in the morning, and we're in the pool, and then whatever, I go to bed, and I wake up the next morning, it's like, hey, where's number 73? And where's number 64? They were sent home.
Wow.
Oh.
So they didn't, wow.
Yeah.
That's Darren Arbette.
Doesn't play around.
No.
Rules are rules.
Wow.
And I learned that firsthand when I was on we went in Philly, and I was doing broadcast on that trip, and I'm on the bus, and the rule is there's no talking on the bus. You sit on the bus, and you shut your mouth. And you know me, I got jokes.
Was this pre-AirPods?
Wow, man.
I might have had a Walkman.
Why can't you talk?
There's no talking.
Why?
It's a business trip. Focus on the game. Shut your mouth.
I talk on
Kevin Durant.
What? I don't even.
His rules, not mine.
I know, but what was the thought process?
The thought process was, lock in on the game, focus on what you're doing. We don't want to have towel snapping and hey, look at that. And
I mean,
how'd you do?
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. So about 10 minutes in, your boy's got something to say, and and it wasn't even in loud tones. And I said something to a guy, a couple rows over, and I looked back toward the front of the bus, and Coach Arbette is looking back and giving me the 1,000-mile stare.
I couldn't have played for him.
One more word out of you, and I'm coming back there. And you're going to wind up on the interstate.
You're not even on the team.
Dude.
It's one thing when the team breaks the rules. You're not even on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard lessons were learned that trip.
Those are tough. Those are tough when the broadcaster gets stuck into the team and then... no, it's...
And your boy likes to talk.
Well, right.
You wouldn't know that.
No, I don't, actually.
That's a 4.
Yeah.
What's he mean, Willard?
No, but it's tough when you've got the hard-ass, kind of coach or manager or whatever, and you don't even know the rules because you're just I'm just a dork with a headset. I did that one time. Do y'all remember Casey Kochman? Do you remember that name? First baseman. So his dad was and I mean capital H, hard-ass manager for a generation of the Boise Hawks minor league baseball club in the Angels organization.
Wow.
Okay?
Thank you.
Casey went well before he was a major leaguer, used to actually come take batting practice with the actual Boise Hawks when he was way younger than them, and he would show them up. Like, you knew, like, this is a first-round draft pick. Anyway, point being, we're on the road one time, and game's about to be over. This is what really ticked him off. It's the 9th inning, and I'm the go downstairs and interview someone on the side of the field after the game guy. Well, they're losing in the 9th inning, but he doesn't want to admit that they're about to lose. He doesn't want the team thinking game over, but Johnny Broadcaster in flip-flops just walks into the dugout.
Oh, God.
They just walk into the dugout, walk right by him, and sit down on the bench. And he takes a breath where he's still looking at the game, and you can see the shoulders just like tighten up. He turns around after about 5-second break and looks at me and goes, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting ready for the post-game interview." As if like, dude, game's over. You guys are getting your butts kicked.
5-1 or whatever.
Get your ass out of the dugout.
Yeah, you were out of pocket, though, Willard. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, boy.
Completely. I went upstairs to tell the story, and they're like, "Dude, what were you thinking?" I'm like, "I just lost myself for a second."
Right.
I'm like, "Game's about to be over." He's like, "No, it's not. Go sit in the stands.
Wow.
Get the hell out of the dugout."
Ooh.
I was like, oof.
Man.
Whoops.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
No. Speaking of tough one, we led the show with Brock Purdy getting Jared Goff's contract. Am I by myself, guys?
He's going to get more.
It's done deal.
He's going to get
I
more.
said 65-70, Dibs. There's nothing to see.
Well, I don't know.
Steiny, I don't know.
Well,
but
you do have to remember the leverage factor in all this, which is the Niners do have leverage as far as when he gets the money and how much he gets and, you know, how he goes about getting it.
Why would you even have to use that leverage if he has a year like he did last year?
You wouldn't, and you won't. But at the same time, you're not going to just give him 65 or 70 just because, you know, darn it, he's a good quarterback when he's got years left on his deal. And I also think that, and I was thinking about this listening to you guys on the drive in about the idea of guaranteed money and, you know, maybe his overall number is less, but maybe the guarantee is higher because that's ultimately what matters. And if you're going to sign Brock Purdy and you believe in Brock Purdy, then you don't really care about the back end of the deal because you're going to sign him at 25. And you're going to sign him through his, 29 or 30th year?
If he has another great year, you're thrilled. You're thrilled to sign him. Now, it's not going to be 65 or 70.
The owner said, I got a blank check. I signed the check.
Yeah, but I don't actually see any scenario. I mean, maybe if he wins the MVP and the Super Bowl. But you're talking, first of all, I don't even think the top of the market next year is going to be 65 or 70.
Right, and that's
right
what
now,
I was,
it's 55.
Right.
But he's not going to be the highest paid quarterback in the game.
But top
I don't
five,
think.
yeah.
Maybe, probably. Like, this is it's north of Goff.
Yeah.
And I think the fun sort of exercise for the next year is to ask 49er fans, like, why do we have such a hard time wrapping our heads around this? Why? Do you think anyone in Detroit yesterday was like, 50-something for Goff? And nobody thinks Jared Goff's better than Brock Purdy.
Yep.
Nobody thinks that. But there's this thing. I'm still learning exactly what it is.
Thing.
It is, but like, why is that still here? If Jared Goff's what did he get? 52?
Yeah.
I know that's a faux average.
Sure.
But like, why? What's the hesitation? Well, maybe 4.
Steiny, share with them what you said to me about Kyle possibly having this thought.
Well, so Jared Goff represents the salary 21% of their entire cap once that thing kicks in. And I think the 49ers have been able to do some things payroll-wise because they have a quarterback that's making $1 million.
Of course.
So when he gets paid, things are going to change. And that worries me a little bit. I
think that's just life in the league, isn't it?
I mean, what other quarterback has this many weapons? And he's going to cost you a couple weapons. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I don't know.
Joe Burrow's got weapons. Mixon is not McCaffrey, but he's got weapons.
He's gone too. He's on the Texans now. But yeah, like I put it this way. Life in the league, you constantly have to be replacing people when either they're capped out or they get older. And nobody in this room or outside of this room would blink if I offered, okay, so you can have a really good quarterback and suffer a couple of losses, or you can keep that beautiful weaponry all over the place all the time and just reboot your QB every 3 years and take your chances. Which would you do?
Well,
I got my.
It's what would Kyle do?
Well, I think he tried to reboot his quarterback three years ago, and he
Trey
did,
Lance.
and he did something that would have gotten anyone else fired if he hadn't found Brock Purdy in the 7th round.
Right. He went up to get that pick because he thought Trey Lance was going to be the next dynamic quarterback. Right.
And I don't think that he felt that he was giving up something irreplaceable in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and I don't know the way he feels about Purdy.
Better.
Right, and I
But
do
how
think
can
that
you not
he's
be in love?
signaling to you the way that they're going to reboot this by taking Pearsall in the first round. So you
Right.
take a receiver that you like, thinking that, okay, if this guy is as good as we think that he is, and he's on a rookie deal, first round pick,
We brought it
4
up.
years with a 5th-year option, then you get to next year and maybe you part with either Brandon or Debo, most likely Debo, and then all of a sudden now your receiver room is not number one as it is right now according to Warren Sharp and Sharp Football. They have the most expensive receiver room in football, but you get into next year and Ayuk's extension kicks in, assuming he gets one, and then you've got Pearsall and who knows about Jawan and the rest of it. All of a sudden that number goes down and Brock Purdy's number still won't go up for one more year.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit
Real quick,
Union.
Willard, to Dibs' point, why weren't the Eagles? You told me yesterday, I forgot.
Well,
why wasn't the Eagles room the highest paid?
It's all based on cap hit.
Okay, all right.
It's all based on current cap hit, and I don't know. I'm not enough of an Eagles expert to tell you where in the life of these A.J. Brown and Devontae
But
Smith
they're both
deals
getting the
are.
chicken, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Debo's cap hit right now is through the roof. It will not be next offseason. So it goes way down. But then Brandon Ayuk, in theory, might have an extension in place, and it goes back up. That's one of the reasons, though, I love that they picked Pearsall now. You know, get a year of info on him before you decide what it is you're going to do next with that room next year.
But best believe they had that in mind.
Of course.
Brock is probably going to be Brock, and we're going to have to give him his bread. And if we have to part, we got a guy with service already.
That's why they took all the calls they took on those guys this year.
Yeah.
You know, like they're gonna. You're right. You guys are right. They're gonna have to do something, and that's life in the league.
And
all
where
the time.
Steiny and I differ is Steiny, I believe they paid Jimmy. They made Jimmy, it was 2 minutes. He was the highest paid QB.
Yeah, yep.
He got all ample time, and he got hurt too. And
Right.
I feel like that was a marriage. Kyle didn't just, I can go the cheap. Like Jimmy was paid. He had his opportunity, and he went a different way.
Not a marriage. I think Cleveland and Deshaun, that's a marriage. When you owe him. And Kyler in Arizona,
too.
that's a marriage. Jimmy and the Niners, it was an engagement. You know,
But you had some good times.
You sure did.
It was a marriage at the time.
No, it was a
the highlight.
marriage.
it was a nullable.
Do you think Shanahan?
It was. You're right.
Do you think Shanahan will marry Brock Purdy?
Yes. If you like it, then you should have put a ring
Oh,
on
my
it.
gosh, and
Beyonce.
they will.
Thank you. And he will.
We'll
And-
see.
Well, if he does what he's done so far, which is, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, and while doing that, setting franchise records and being maybe the most efficient quarterback in the league, I can't imagine Kyle looks at that and goes, you know what? There's a 7th rounder out there that I like even more at that price point.
Yeah,
I mean, that's dangerous.
I'm not saying they shouldn't or they won't. I'm saying after watching Shanahan for 7 years, I'll believe that when I see it.
Well, we got at least 17 more games of data.
Exactly.
To figure
No
out.
doubt. And
Starting with the Jets.
I mean, my hypothetical.
Dude, what a game. I
My
love that.
hypothetical would be, what if you did have to pay him now?
You would.
But you'd probably be happy to do it, Steiny, because it signals that we got a franchise quarterback.
It's better than the alternative. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
The better than the alternative is, but what I perpetually like, the state of the Bears our entire lives has been, we're about to find that
Since
guy.
Jim McMahon.
He wasn't even that good.
I know, but shut up.
He's
B.
all right.
Sure.
He's
I
all right.
like
He's a
him.
crazy person.
I think
Willie Go.
the Lions are a great example because if we all did our QB rankings right now in the NFL, Jared Goff would be between 12 and 19, 13 and 21.
I got him higher than that, honestly, Dibs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, fine. But no one's putting him in the top 5.
No.
Okay, yeah.
The
That's
top
sacred,
10
though.
might feel like a little bit of a Willie
Maybe
McCovey.
he's 10th.
Yeah.
A little bit of a stretch.
Maybe.
Well, if you're putting him behind Brock, and I don't want to play this game now because it's May and I'm all in on this Giants baseball debacle, but
Oh, boy.
I do think that
It's early still.
if you wanted to rank him, you wouldn't rank him as number 1, and yet the Lions are in a spot where you have to pay him because you have no other option.
Well,
and he's good enough to get that money.
Because he runs their system and can make every throw. Like Brock can run this. Like I was telling Steiny, it's not about are you Mahomes, it's how do you run our system? And if that's the checklist, Willard, Kyle's got to be grinning at night.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. That's why I think it's interesting to explore what our hesitation is, and maybe so from draftism to it's only been a year and a half to whatever you want to say. But I just largely look around at the league, and when a quarterback produces, like their fan base is excited, and they pay him, and that's it. Like there's no debate. The only time you get into a debate with what is sort of like a B-level quarterback is when you've had a bunch of bites at the apple and you can't get all the way to the center.
What's going on with Dallas and Dak?
Dak
this will be a second one, and they are saying we are not giving it to
Derek Carr before him.
Good call.
Like players where you're like, it's a good quarterback. You know what I mean?
No
but
doubt.
Is this really going to get us up over the top?
Maybe
like
Cousins in Minnesota.
Well, Cousins in Washington was that.
Sure.
It's just like let's let him walk.
And then in Minnesota, he had his chance, he had his run, and now it's like we're not going to give you that next huge contract.
I wonder what they actually offered him. I think he wanted to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, but
Justin
no,
Jefferson.
it's not,
To go home and be a backup.
Yeah, it's not. But
they paid him. Why do people feel like he's mad? And of course, he's going to say I'm good.
Yeah,
but throw 3 picks.
He'll be available
games
next
in a row.
year after Purdy fails.
Just a look at you.
I love it. Welcome back.
Can we talk about?
We don't
go
want to
ahead.
pay Brock Purdy, but we like Cousins' contract.
Yeah.
We'll take that off your
I
hands.
was giving Steiny my definition of envy and jealousy. Jealousy is when you don't like somebody, then it's not envy. Envy is like I envy you got your friends and your family. Jealousy is when you can't stand somebody and they're doing something. And that's what I thought about watching the Giants and Dodgers. How can you not look at that lineup, Yamamoto, just everything about the Dodgers right now and not be jealous if you're a Giant fan?
Is that jealousy or envy? I'm not sure which one it is.
Well, when it's a rival, was it both? It's a jealousy to me.
You defined both things, and I went, they both fit. They both fit. Yeah.
Right.
Good God, that lineup is a bear.
You wish you were them. You hate them.
We throw money at our problems, but yet we still got a farm.
I mean,
what's not to like?
I just assume, like, if I've got to run an errand and the top of the Dodgers order is up, I assume that's at least one run by the time I get back.
Damn.
If I've got to go to the restroom and Ohtani's up, I'm like, by the time I get out of
He's
here.
must-watch in bed.
And I was late. I was getting dinner ready, and it was already 7:05. And
Freeman's up next.
Right. I hit Jude. I go, hey, Jude. Turn them on. Let's go. Game's on. He turns it on. It's 1-0. I'm like, I don't even know what happened, but I know what happened. And then he pulls his iPad out. He goes, Dad, do you know how the Dodgers scored? I go, no. But I could guess. I go, which one of them hit the ball over the fence? He's like, Mookie.
Mookie.
Thank you. It's a 4.
First pitch of the game
movie.
or whatever the hell it was. I'm like, of course. That's like it's almost a win. It's like a win if you can get through that with only one run.
Right.
Like, all right.
Only a solo. You know?
Yeah.
It's like in Major League when they're in the outfield, they're like, "Oh no, that's too high. That's too high," and it hits like
too high. What does that mean?
Exactly.
Oh, God.
That's kind of what that was. And
dude,
the at bat was like, it looked like Hicks. He's gonna put him away. He's gonna put him away. He fouled it off. Here's a drive. It's like,
and Giant fans, I got to give them credit. There was a lot of blue, but I heard beat LA. And then Fitzgerald gets picked off.
I heard we LA is what I heard.
Oh, whoa. No, there were Dodger fans.
I was joking around with Mark before.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
heard
beat
beat
LA
LA.
or is it we LA?
Look, there was energy in the building.
No doubt about it.
So that's good. That's a start. I also have more to say on the topic.
Okay.
though.
That's coming up.
I have more to say on
What do you
topic.
think about the Valkyries?
I think it's phenomenal.
Awesome.
Like, first of all,
That is dope.
Well, when I first saw it, I think, like most of us,
Kings.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's the Valkyrie? Then I did some reading, and I'm like, okay, this is intuitive. It's attached. They have a story that they're right, like the Marvel universe and the female warrior. I'm like, okay,
let's go.
The color scheme's amazing. And so,
not too Sacramento for you? Not too adorable?
I've been hearing some of that.
It is purple.
There's nothing wrong with the color purple.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the color purple.
Shout out Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I like.
I would have said
Had to
I
beat
dig
you
it.
to it.
I dig it. It's and it's also not like campy and obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I don't like names
like the
like
Warriorettes.
That would have been campy and obvious.
Thank you.
And awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Like I am Indiana Fever tonight. We got into it. This is too complex, but the racial element about Caitlin Clark and her shoe deal. She got a shoe, and some are barking. Asia Wilson, Las Vegas, saying a lot of other girls didn't get the shoes. And I'm like, I'm Malcolm X when I need to be, but the energy behind Caitlin Clark, she has earned because of her game and the flair that she plays with.
Right.
Yeah,
So Caitlin, even if she was purple, she has earned the shoe deal. And Steiner's like, well, what if she doesn't pan out? It doesn't matter. She's already panned out with what we saw and people gravitating to the sport.
Agreed, and I think Asia needs to remember her history on who really moved the chains, and it was Cheryl Miller, and then it was Lisa Leslie, and then you could go to Candace Parker. I'd even throw in Shamika Holdsclaw, somebody who we saw at Tennessee, Steiny, who dominated. So the advancement of women's basketball is not just here's a white girl who can shoot and now we care about it. It's been many, many years before that.
I'm going to try something, and I hope I don't offend anybody. Look, the whole idea of women's sports, hell, women in general,
right,
and equality. This is a very, very big subject, and well traveled, and the unfairness is well documented and obvious to all of us.
Look at the pay.
However, we cannot now then let that get to the point where no matter what the subject is in the WNBA, we have to scream about how everything's got to be equal. You want to know why Caitlin Clark has the deal and you don't? You ain't Caitlin Clark. Period. Like, what if Andrew Wiggins was like, Steph's making 59 and I'm good?
What are you bringing to the table? She's bringing everything to the table.
I'm already out on how much within WNBA jealousy I've seen or envy of Caitlin Clark.
Man.
They're mad at her upon a rival, and it's like if you don't understand that she's Tiger Woods for your sport.
Steiny used that.
If you don't get that, I don't know what to do for you.
Steiny used that comp.
She is the conduit to all kinds of money for all of you. If you'd shut up and let her do her thing. It's the same thing happened on the PGA Tour.
Are you going Fuzzy Zeller on me?
Well, no. Do you remember, though, a guy would shoot 65 in the first round, and Tiger would shoot 69, and the guy that shot 65 would go to the press conference, and they'd be like, what'd you think about Tiger's 69?
Right.
And he'd get all ticked off. Why are you asking? I shot 65. Why are you Because
that's incredible.
And now you see, Mr. 65 guy, you have 3 extra bedrooms in your house.
Right.
Because Tiger Woods, let her be your logo. Like, stop knocking her down. She's the one.
Yeah. This last tournament this past weekend, the total purse was $20 million. And Rory made 3.1 for first place.
There you go. Thank you, Tiger.
3.1. Exactly.
Thank you, Tiger.
Exactly.
Everybody
just say it after every good shot. Yeah. Thank you, Tiger.
We'll be listening.
We will be listening on 95.7.
Wow. The game. Glad you're back.